Hello everybody and welcome to Car Confections. Now today is the day that we're finally able to show you the drive of this all-new Nissan Armada. We cannot wait to show you what this is all about. Certainly we're excited about it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. So in this test drive, we're going to be discussing quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now. We'll also be getting things like our sound level reading. But first, we want to go ahead and get a hard acceleration to show you what that new powertrain is all about.
All right.
Nice.
That was 60 miles per hour in this new Armada. So, as we discussed in the first part of our review, and I'll just go ahead and recap, big changes to what's under the hood. So previously, we had that 5.6 liter V8. That was kind of a signature engine for the Nissan brand, but times are changing. Now we need less cylinders, a little bit better fuel economy and emissions. So we're switching to a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 instead. This is part of the VR family, and it makes more power and significantly more torque. So 425 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. Again, big improvements over that previous V8 engine.
Yeah, we have spent a week with that previous Armada, and I have to say, this one feels so much more peppy off the line. This, of course, is a big vehicle, so it's important that it doesn't feel slow. And not that the V8 did feel slow, but I think this is that extra oomph that you're looking for. The torque, I think, particularly is something worth noting. And I said this in the QX80 review, and I stand by it here in the Armada as well. A lot of times when they switch, from a V8 to a V6, I'm a little disappointed because I miss the growl. Yes, I miss the growl, but I think in this one, it's actually a pretty good switch because you're getting a lot more power for the V6.
Yeah, and speaking of sound, this does itself have a nice growl as well. It sounds powerful. Obviously, it's not the same as a V8, but when you punch it, it has a nice sound to it. Now, let's talk about the other element of the powertrain, and that's our 9-speed automatic transmission. I think this is a really good partner to this engine. It really seems to keep it nicely in its power band. When you punch it, you don't have to wait very long at all to get that downshift and access to the additional power.
Yeah, you do also have standard two-wheel drive on every trim level besides for the Pro 4X, where it is standard equipment to have four-wheel drive. And I'll just go ahead and mention fuel economy as well. We talked about that a little bit at the beginning. This will, of course, get you a little bit better fuel economy than the V8, but probably not by as much as you would expect. Although we don't have the official EPA numbers yet, we do expect it to be the same as the Infiniti QX80, which is its sibling, for those of you that don't know. That comes in at 18 miles per gallon combined with the two-wheel drive version, or 17 mpg combined with the four-wheel drive version. So improvements, yes, but is it a very fuel efficient option? No. So keep that in mind. You definitely will be paying quite a bit at the pump to fuel this vehicle. However, the really great thing about the Armada compared to the QX80 is that this is using regular fuel as opposed to premium. So, premium fuel getting 17 miles a gallon, that's definitely going to be very expensive. I'm at least happy you don't have to do that here in the Armada.
I do want to also mention there is not a hybrid option available. There's also not a diesel option. So if you're looking for most efficiency in this segment, Sequoia has the available hybrid, Tahoe has the available diesel, both of which you would improve, this fuel economy quite a bit. But in terms of, how that stacks up against the Tahoe's V8, it's pretty similar. All right, we're in sport mode. We're gonna give this a try. Yeah, very nice. Now, one of the things I want to talk about now that we're on this back road, we're in Tennessee here, and it's very interesting to me that this vehicle has a strong suit that really nothing else in the segment accomplishes. This is kind of your sporty option for this class. I wasn't really expecting that, but behind the wheel, they have really made this feel like a smaller SUV than it actually is. So this has the available air suspension. This also has an intelligent digital suspension as well. So what this is doing is basically compensating and minimizing body roll as we go around these corners. When you combine that with steering that's actually quite responsive and quick, kind of feels almost a little sporty, if you can ever describe a gigantic 3-row SUV as such. But definitely compared to Tahoe, compared to Sequoia, all the competition that we have been in, this definitely is the most agile feeling one.
Yeah, and that's something I really didn't expect either, but I do think it's a benefit, especially if you're going to be driving on roads like this. It doesn't feel so cumbersome and out of control on a country back road like this. Now, I also want to just take a second to discuss ride quality as well. I'll go ahead and toggle us back into the standard drive mode to discuss ride quality. Now, when it comes to that, like Drew mentioned, he said the big element of this Armada is the fact that we have an adaptive air suspension. That's a full air suspension as well. So unlike the Sequoia, where it's just a rear air suspension, this is a full air suspension that really helps improve your overall ride quality to get you the best ride as well as the best dynamics. And I have to say, I'm very impressed with it. They've done a fantastic job. It does a great job of soaking up the bumps, even with the large 22s on the outside. I really have no complaints. Also, these seats are Nissan Zero Gravity seats, so one of the best ride qualities in the segment. Now, I do want to point out the air suspension is standard if you choose the Pro 4X or this Platinum Reserve. So that's how you get the air suspension. It's going to be on the upper end models as expected, but I'm happy that they are including that, and not just on the QX80, for instance. It's definitely a nice thing for me. All right, and we've made it to a highway portion. I toggled us to fan speed 1, and we're going to get our sound level reading going 55. Sitting at 54 decibels is what we're getting here in Tennessee. And I do want to point out, of course, we are not in our home state of Kentucky. We're just one state over down here in Tennessee. That does mean that it's not an official sound level reading, but because we're so close to home, most of the road surfacing is pretty similar. So I'd expect that's a very accurate reading for this new Armada. We do expect to also get one of these back home for a week, and we'll give you our official sound level reading at that point. But we don't have to sit here and guess how it compares to other vehicles in the segment. We can go to carconfections.com/sound level readings and see how it compares to big rivals like Toyota Sequoia and Tahoe. And actually, that does make it the quietest one in the segment that we have tested. Now, keep in mind, like I said, this is not official yet, but Nissan was quick to brag that they have done a lot more sound deadening for this new Armada. So that may be showing up here with our sound level reading. I think it feels very luxurious in here. It really doesn't feel all that different than a QX80 when it comes to the amount of noise entering into this cabin, which I think is certainly a good thing.
And that is going to be today's slam dunk. Having spent time with the QX80, especially when we're talking about this Platinum Reserve, there's not a lot of differences between that model, and we were impressed by that. So even more so when you have a much lower price point, this really is an impressive product.
Yeah, that's for sure. And some things I actually even like better. I like our physical climate buttons better. I like the physical door handles on the outside better. So just keep that in mind. They're quite similar to one another, besides for a few of those little differences. Now, on the airball side of things, it's a very solid product, but what we are going to say, compared to some of the rivals, you do have less space. Expedition offers a max version. The Tahoe offers, of course, the Suburban. Those are going to have significantly more cargo capacity, and even if you buy the standard wheelbase Tahoe and regular Expedition, they're also going to have more space than this. Yes, it's more than the Sequoia, but it's kind of not as big as some of those main competitors. And as far as last things worth mentioning, your warranty is going to be a 3-year 36 basic, 5-year 60,000 mile powertrain. New for 2025 is actually you get 2 years of complimentary maintenance with this Armada, so that's a nice benefit across the entire Nissan brand. And guys, we appreciate you watching this Nissan Armada review. I do want to point out availability before we conclude here. Nissan actually says this is available now. This should be rolling out to dealerships pretty much as we speak. So you won't have to wait too much longer if you're looking to buy a new Armada. If you enjoyed watching, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to get the latest car reviews such as this, and you're also going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel. I promise you won't want to miss out. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support because you make this all possible, getting us invited to events like this. And we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.